I started hosting 3 years ago, and I can still remember that feeling of excited uncertainty before my first guest arrived. Okay, who am I kidding? I was really nervous. I get nervous before my mom comes to stay at my place, and now I'm going to have someone who I have never met come stay with me for an entire week. I must have moved the towels between the bedroom and the bathroom 6 times before finally settling on where to put them. I had silly questions like, should I make their bed every night, or is that invading their privacy? I even had a friend come over to do an impromptu smell test, just to make sure I wasn't delusional. Anyway, after dozens of guests who've come and gone, I've built so much more confidence for what it means to host. In fact, it was my first review that got me to do it again and again and again. Now, I'm pretty proud of this review. I'm actually prouder that 5,000 people are reading it right now. And I know I am not the only one that when they get a great review, they want to print it out like they've gotten an A+ on the report card, slap it on the fridge, turn to their significant other and say, honey, look how amazing we are. I love going back to this review. So, that first time hosting feeling may seem pretty distant for many of you. In fact, 300 of you here today have just started hosting in the last 3 months. Welcome to the hosting community. So, we all benefit when hosts around the world can provide great experiences. In fact, we know that when a first-time guest has a great experience, they are 35% more likely to stay with another host. We all benefit. But it's not just new hosts who go through these moments of uncertainty. The uniqueness of Airbnb means that we are learning all the time. Learning never stops. And that's why today we are introducing 3 different flavors to learn. Number 1, to discover on your own and learn independently. Number 2, to learn with another through mentors. And lastly, to connect with the rest of the community. So, to learn independently on your own, today we are launching the Host Toolkit Center. Now, what I've been getting to is that there is no secret formula to hosting. But there is a lot of shared best practices. So, in the Toolkit Center, that's exactly what it provides: the art and science of hosting. There's no universally correct answer for what to offer your guests when they arrive, but there is some beautiful psychology and shared values that you have all provided. And we have managed to package those shared values and offer them in a personal yet instructional way for all hosts to be able to access them. So to take a peek inside and see what those values look like, let's hear from some of our hosts.
Hi, my name is Tim. I'm an Airbnb host.
I'm Juliana.
I'm Shandor.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Abhay.
Hi, my name is Joy.
Hi, I'm Beverly. Susie and I share our space on Airbnb. Some things are from experience and some things are from us thinking about it and some things are from us actually staying in the room and experiencing it.
Cody really helps their experience. Everyone's told me about that. And by having him in the profile, I think you're setting the right expectation. And you get the people who want a dog in the house.
I think it's really, really important that you respond as soon as you can.
I tell my guests to text me if they have any issues, even though they're just on the other side of the door. I get a text that will say, is there any beer? And I will text back and say yes.
To make people feel comfortable, she goes like above and beyond.
There was one guy who was like, how did you know what my favorite flowers are?
stick to your routine. We welcome people, we have cheese and cracker, we have wine. Don't deviate. To them, it's not like, oh, cheese again. You know, to them, it's something new. So we just keep this routine going, and then we get really good at it.
It's delightful. It's really personal for me.
There's a joy in being kind to strangers who you've never met.
Airbnb has brought the world to me.
So, when we built this toolkit, we put it in front of our hosts that we learned a lot from. And I really saw the magic behind what was in here when a host across the table had this massive smile on her face when we asked her, well, what do you think of the information in the toolkits? And she said, this is not just your basic information on how to host. What we are doing together is redefining what hospitality means. And together, we are rewriting that book in this center. So, in 2016, we're going to be rolling this out in more languages. Today, we'll launch in English and French. And next year, we will also be inviting you to create the next set of toolkits with us. And I have no doubt that in the near future, we will be able to watch the art of feng shui or the importance of having a green listing. We look forward to seeing what you guys come up with next. So now that we have a way to learn independently, we also need to learn from someone else. Today, we are rolling out the Host Mentors program. So at last year's Open, we heard from everyone. You're already mentoring your neighbors, your friends and family. Some of you are the go-to host in your town and city, the Airbnb person that they come to. In fact, raise your hand if at any stage you have mentored or educated someone on hosting. That is phenomenal. Yes, that is phenomenal. Heck, I got married this year, and I've been mentoring my husband on what to do. Well, false, mostly what not to do, but either way, new hosts need our help. But with the Mentors program, it allows you to really have a playbook and know what to do, and frankly, reward you for your time that you're putting into mentoring. It's very simple. We will match a mentor with a new host, and you guys take it from there. Based upon your own performance, we will invite you to apply into the program, and also based on the demand of new hosts coming on board. Now, pause for a second and look at the number of people here today. Just look around the room, take a second, and keep this in mind. The number of people that you see sitting here today is the number of people who sign up to be a host on Airbnb in a 48-hour window. That is a lot of new hosts. And with this program, they can have an experienced pro like you in their corner. So it's in learning from our hosts that allows our guests to have this amazing experience. And what I was so inspired by is that it's not just our new hosts who benefit from this. You are very enthusiastic to help others. And in hearing more about that, let's hear from Linda and Chris.
This is much bigger than renting out a room.
Right.
You know, you're sort of looking, is there somebody that can just tell me that what I'm doing is okay?
Exactly.
That the way that I want to be a host is acceptable.
Because sometimes it's the silly little questions.
It
You
is,
think,
I
you know,
know.
should I really be worrying about this, or, you know, just let it go?
I know, and those are silly. They seem silly now, but at the time, they really didn't feel silly, and they felt big. But you just need a little bit of kind of someone holding your hand,
Exactly,
and telling you
exactly.
this is all right.
Right.
So the role of a mentor is to make sure that there is no silly or small questions left on the table. Now, once you've walked your mentee through a few steps, you will have an opportunity to leave them their first reference. This is their first stamp of hosting recognition and gets them one step closer to getting that first booking. Now, I did say that there was a reward. So for every 10 mentorships completed, $250 travel credit are given to our mentors to be able to walk in the shoes of what it's like to be a guest. Being a guest is another great way to understand how to be a great host. 350 of you are actually being a guest for the first time here in Paris this week. I hope it has been a wonderful experience. So, you've learned independently, and you can learn from someone else. But there is a much larger community out there to learn from too, globally, and many of you are doing that already. We're here to make that easier. So, I want to take a step back for a moment and talk about last year's Airbnb Open. We heard loud and clear that our current community platform groups needed some love and attention. And you were right. There was no search, no ability to be able to find content. It needed to be spam and solicitation free so it could remain healthy. And frankly, the navigation needed some work. For new hosts, it was hard to find. And even when they did find it, it was hard to figure out where to be able to connect with someone. But what we really took away from listening was that the essence of what that platform provides, the ability to be able to connect, not just with anyone, but to connect locally, is critical for a successful community. Now, for us to be able to invest in a community platform for the long haul, that means we need to be able to build a foundational product that we can build on with a richer set of features for you. And today, we are launching that foundational platform, and it's only the beginning. It is the community center. So we had two rules when building this out. Rule number one, build it with you and not just for you. What we heard in working with a lot of hosts were these three things. Number one, to communicate with fellow hosts. I mean, that seems very obvious, but to communicate with someone who has something in common with you, who's located in a proximity near you or has a similar interest. Back again to the ability to be able to find relevant information through search. And lastly, to be heard by Airbnb. So many wonderful ideas come from you every single day, and we shouldn't have to wait for one event on an annual basis to hear this feedback. We should be listening all the time. So let's take a little walk through the product and see where it's going. So, what you see here is relevant information. This is the London community. Now, today we are going to be rolling out 20 different city boards, and I know what you're thinking. You've heard many times today that there's 110 nationalities represented here today. 20 cities only barely scratches the surface. So we're not going to be rolling out more cities on an annual basis or even on a quarterly, every 4 months basis. We're going to be doing this every single month, rolling out more and more cities, small, large locations, depending on the activity that is coming in for you. So when we say we need a smarter community, that also means that we need to be able to bring popular and trending conversations to the forefront so that you can find them in real time and be able to jump right into the discussions. Next up, your activity page. So the great thing about a discussion is that it continues. On your activity page, you will be able to find all of the past conversations that you've started. Something that you started last week may pick up next week, next month, and continue, and you should be able to jump right in. Now, you'll also notice that there was a consistent search bar across all of these pages. And starting immediately, you will have the ability to be able to search for information across the platform. What you can see here is someone searching for what to do when they receive an inquiry from a guest without a profile photo. They can jump right into a conversation, and one of our expert hosts here, Deborah, is providing advice about what you should do when you have a guest without a profile photo. So actually, pause for a second. We should probably, this is a bold statement, you should probably never receive an inquiry from a guest without a profile photo to begin with. Am I right? I mean, it's great that they can find the information, but that should be fixed. Jobot, you're on it? Okay. So you can search for the information, but the last statement we made was that you needed to be heard by Airbnb. Being heard by Airbnb is one thing, but we also need to be able to communicate back out with you. So within the community center, there is the announcements board, where you are going to receive real-time information, blog posts, and what Jobot spoke about earlier, the user host voice report, to be able to suggest product ideas and be able to get into the product development process right here within the community center. And we'll also report out on the status of it. We know that things break sometimes, and you guys are often the ones to tell us first when things are broken. Now we will keep you updated through status checks on the announcement boards on when things are getting fixed. So in keeping with this rule, I want to put up a few folks here who've been helping us understand what it means to build out an amazing platform. These 18 hosts are faces from your community that you may recognize. They are our Launchpad hosts in this community, and they have been representing your voice, and honestly, they've been holding us accountable to make sure that we roll out all of the features needed to ensure that the essence of a strong community continues. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. They have been phenomenal. And we couldn't have done it without them. But the one thing we have heard from them, which goes to rule number 2, is make sure that we continue and support this product, to iterate on it. Now, I mean, what does that mean, iterate on it? It means that what we are launching today is not the end. There is so many more features to come, and to show you, in a few weeks, we are going to be launching the ability for hosts to be able to connect one-on-one privately through direct messaging as well. So safely and securely, you will be able to have these one-on-one conversations if you want to take a step out of the community center. In the following few months, we'll be rolling out a stronger Meetup tool integration and the ability to be able to connect at a very, very local level and start conversations with people, even if there's only 10 hosts within that community. You shouldn't have to be in a city to be able to connect with local hosts. So, starting today, I want you to feel that you can jump into this community and start having conversations. There is the Airbnb Open 2015 board where you can connect with all of the hosts here. Joe Gebbia spoke earlier about the moments of joy. We want you to go in here and to be able to post your stories. We'll be gathering them and sharing them all back out later. We're excited to hear what tips you have. To visit it, go to the community.airbnb.com, and you'll see all the rich features that are coming out in the near future. So I've spoken a lot about what it means to host, how to host, but none of that is valuable if you don't have the tools to be able to accomplish it. So to speak more to that, please welcome Jobot back on stage.